Tory Lanez might want to see about getting a refund on his hair restoration procedure after it has been revealed that it is not working out. Tory Lanez is trending. His hair broke the internet, literally. We see it everywhere. I mean, what happened to Tory Lanez's hair? Tory Lanez roasted on social media. Hey, this is Matt and welcome back to the channel, everybody, where I'm going to be talking about Tory Lanez. And yes, this was coming. All of you guys who have been watching my videos for the last couple of weeks, you also know that I was calling for this scenario. Unfortunately, yes, Tory Lanez got a hair transplant and he did not get on hair loss prevention simultaneously. Yes, he mentioned something about PRP and probably he had done platelet-rich plasma injections.
PRP shots.
What's that?
Which is like, you get like they take some blood out your arm.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll like shoot a shot of blood back into your head because...
But we know that when it comes down to combating androgenetic alopecia in males, PRP usually comes short, okay? And this is what happened to Tory Lanez. Now, alright, so let me refresh your memory in case you didn't see what happened to Tory Lanez's hair. You see how his whole top is pretty much gone, and pretty much the only thing that was left at the front from his hair is his transplanted hairline, and also he got his temples transplanted. So this is also transplanted. My estimation was again around 2,000 grafts, and you can watch that previous video I made on Tory Lanez and his hair transplant breakdown. But one thing that I also pointed out like a couple of weeks ago when I was doing this video was exactly this area, guys. So this area is the area where Tory Lanez should have been focusing on. He should have been on finasteride, he should have been on minoxidil, he should have been doing all these things that I talk about on this channel to prevent further hair loss and to become a better hair transplant candidate that way. Because remember, if you get a hair transplant, the transplanted hair can only look as great as the hair around it. So as long as your native hair, as long as the hair that was non-transplanted looks great, your transplanted hair can also look great. But once your transplanted hair is pretty much like gone, as you can see it here, I mean, it almost resembles the Norwood 5, Norwood 6, progression on the Hamilton-Norwood scale. I mean, if you don't have this hair behind anymore, your transplanted hair looks just weird. We in the hair transplant community refer to as the island of hair. So I don't know how Tory Lanez kind of thought this was going to turn out. I mean, if he didn't want to get on medication, I don't know what he was thinking, literally. I really don't know what he was expecting. Did he expect that the hair on, behind will just remain there forever? Didn't he like see his obvious diffuse hair loss already back in 2019? It was just obvious that this guy already was like diffusely thinning on the mid-scalp and crown already before even getting his hair transplant. And funny enough, this guy was always talking about like, I was always just losing hair on the temples and edges. It wasn't so bad with me. It wasn't so bad with
My shit was not that fucked up. My shit was like I cut my hair bald because the size of my shit was getting crazy. I just got my sides refixed.
Yo, but how
It
my
looks
shit was
great.
never that bad.
Tory Lanez might want to see about getting a refund on his hair restoration procedure after it has been revealed that it is not working out. Well, it worked out, and you see that the growth is there. His temples are full. If you take a look at the before and after result after his hair transplant, it looks great, actually. It looks natural, and I described that in my video. You can check it out. So there is no issue with the hair transplant as such. I mean, the hair grew back, the result was great, but the problem was that he didn't focus on, managing his hair loss and his native hair, which was non-transplanted. That's the issue. So here you can see how somebody who gets a hair transplant while thinking he will never have to take any hair loss prevention for the rest of his life because he has his hair transplant done and the hair is permanent and this and that. Well, no. There are people who will learn or have to learn it the hard way. Obviously, there are gonna be some exceptions who just get a hair transplant and as a result of their, non-aggressive alopecia in the future, they will, in fact, maybe not suffer that severe hair loss and maybe even without taking medication and getting one hair transplant, everything will just look great and no future hair loss will be noticeable. But this is a very, very, very small percentage of people who are so lucky. But if you get a hair transplant in your 20s, as Tory Lanez had, as Machine Gun Kelly, as so many guys nowadays, me included, you have to get on medication. Okay, so that's like a holy grail. That's like medication plus hair transplant equals the ultimate synergy. Okay, it gives you that synergistic effect. And everybody with ongoing hair loss who just gets a hair transplant without being on medication will not have that synergy, and his hair overall will not look as great as somebody with the same hair loss progression with a hair transplant and medication. Okay, so that's very important. And yes, I tried it too. I tried get a hair transplant, not get on medication for a year after my transplant. Yes, it was risky. Yes, it was hazardous, but I just wanted to test how my genetics, or how fast my genetics want to screw me pretty much. And I realized they really wanted to screw me, and that's why after 1 year after my transplant, I hopped on medication pretty much. And I'm on medication ever since, and it's much better, I have to tell you. So you can try it yourself. You can do what Tory Lanez did. Hopefully you will not let it go so far, but you can do it and test it yourself. In fact, there are many guys who I consult during my hair transplant strategy sessions, and they're just like, Matt, I want to get your help. I want you to help me find the best hair transplant doctor, but I'm telling you, I'm not gonna get on medication. And I tell him, man, okay, do it, but I'm telling you, you will get on it sooner or later. And many of them will actually get on that sooner or later. But you may want to freestyle. You may want to get a transplant and not get on medication. I cannot push you. I'm not a doctor. Hell, even doctor, if a doctor prescribes you a medication and you don't want to take it, you don't have to take it. But then you have to kind of live with the consequences, okay? So lately I have also made the reaction video on this young Instagrammer. I think he's like Instagram model with like 300k followers, who decided to shave his head after getting a hair transplant with 19, with a very low hairline, aggressive hairline, and he didn't go on medication. Well, he did get on finasteride and minoxidil. Minoxidil helped him a little bit, but he had to stop finasteride because of some side effects, and that's why his hair loss kept on progressing, and you can see the end result pretty much in my video. So make sure you check it out. This video is kind of getting picked up by the YouTube algorithm more than usual, so it's getting a lot of views. So I'm sure that's a result of many people liking it and enjoying it, so make sure you check it out too. Now back to Tory Lanez. Well, what are some suggestions this guy could maybe do right now to improve his appearance? Well, the first thing that I would advise this guy in such a situation, probably the most effective thing and most like the fastest fix for this situation will be, if you don't want to be using fibers obviously on that area, that would just be too unnatural because you don't have a lot of native hair support there, so it will probably look very weird and artificial. But what you could do in such case is to do a scalp micropigmentation on that area, buzz that hair much shorter overall, okay, and blend everything together. So he would probably have to cut his hair everywhere on, like, let's say 5 millimeters on top, or maybe shorter, and rely on that short like SMP look, not entirely shaved, but like short a little bit, so everybody would see how that he has in fact like real hairline, that it looks like real hair, but nobody would really see that weird contrast between having hair in the front and having no hair behind it. The second thing that I would do probably long term is pursue like multiple hair transplants. He will need another one in his mid scalp, and then he will need another one in his vertex. Yes, he could do it in one session, but I don't think it's going to be a good idea since his hair is curly. You need like this special, if you want to do FUE and you want to have it done in one session, the doctor has to be experienced with obviously extracting very curly hair, afro textured hair like Tory Lanez has, which is not so easy sometimes, and the transaction rate can be higher. That's why there is like this manual curved punch, which the best doctors utilize who do FUE extraction with afro textured hair. So yes, maybe if such doctor would agree on to doing that in one session, why not? But I would be rather smart and try to stay safe and do it in 2 sessions, like do the mid scalp and crown. I think from here it seems like he needs at least like 4,000 to 5,000 grafts for some decent coverage here. So better split in 2 sessions. And yes, I would try to push the donor area until I could deplete it without like making it look really bad, like moth-eaten and patchy looking. So I would try to deplete it step by step, and then see how it looks and try to even out the difference between the balding on the mid-scalp and crown versus the full hairline. So that would be my suggestion. Yes, he could do also a hair system. I don't know if he wants to do it. Do rappers like hair systems? I don't even know any rapper who wears a hair system. He also mentioned that he's not a fan of scalp micropigmentation.
I looked into the hair tat thing. I looked at that.
No.
Nah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Why would you do that?
That just scares me. Like that's a lot
permanent.
of ink like on your brain.
My suggestion would be pursuing multiple hair transplants. He only got 1 hair transplant so far, as far as I know, and it was around 2,000 grafts, so he definitely has at least 4,000 grafts in his donor available. And if it's going to be harvested safely, if it's going to be harvested with good protocols, with a good doctor, then I imagine that he could get multiple hair transplants from now on and, handle this situation, which is very, it's not good, okay? You probably wouldn't like to be in that situation. So that's why medication is important. That's why you should subscribe to my channel, because I discuss these things here all year round. I discuss hair loss, hair transplants. I help guys with finding out the best hair transplant doctors for them, be it worldwide, be it Turkey. I assist guys throughout their hair transplant research via my hair transplant strategy sessions. So you can also sign up for the session, which is one-on-one call with me. You can check out my free Facebook group, Hair Transplant Experiences, with over 1,700 members in it. And you can check out MacDominance.com, where you can also find many useful articles on topics of hair transplants, hair loss. Get my free ebook, 5 Things I Wished I Had Known Before My Hair Transplant, or get one of my hair transplant guides. Okay, so these are the things that I felt important to mention. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna be seeing you in another one. Take care.